Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Classic Mini Max. This is IELTS video series and in this video I'm going to discuss you IELTS study plan. Basically this study plan is for 3 months. You may think that 3 months is a very long time that you cannot sit and study for the IELTS exam. But you have to do this because if you want really to achieve higher band in your first attempt, then you have to put in the effort of minimum 3 months to get the desired band. This plan is designed so simple so that if you follow this plan, I'm very sure that you are going to clear your IELTS exam with flying colors. Let's get into this video. I also have included the free PDF for the IELTS study plan where you can download and you can use it for your reference. As you know, there are 4 modules in the IELTS exam. I would prefer to start you with the reading module because the reading module is the module where you can get a lot of band. At first, you have to understand the reading module may be one of the daunting tasks that you are going to prepare. However, at the end of the day, at the end of 3 months, you will understand that reading module is one of the easiest module where you can get higher band. The reading module actually has 11 to 12 type of questions. So, we have to get familiar with the questions first. Each question has a particular method to solve it. And remember, there are no shortcuts. So, you have to prepare yourself the 12 type of questions with the particular strategies or the methods so that you can solve it very easily. No one can clear the IELTS exam without proper preparation. So, you have to get familiar with the reading module types. And I would suggest you the initial stages you have to put at least 1 hour of your time to understand and get the questions, grasp the questions to answer the questions. The second module is the listening module. You may think listening module is very easy, but if you really want to get higher band in the listening module, you have to listen to various type of accents. You can listen to any English podcast or any audible books, or you can just watch any web series with different accents, because there are 4 sections in the listening module and each section will have a different accent. So you cannot predict which accent would come. I have referred 2 websites which are absolutely free where you can use this website just for listening and reading. While listening to the various type of accents, you can understand and you can get used with the accent, and you have to understand that the listening tape would not be played twice. That means it would be played only once. So, you have to spend at least 30 to 40 minutes in listening. So, on the initial stage, I would recommend you to go to this particular website, that is IELTSonlinetests.com or IELTS_up.com, which is absolutely free, and this is not sponsored video. I am just giving you this reference just to get benefit of this sites to get you more score. So, you can just listen to them. You have to understand the words and you have to answer them correctly, because if the questions ask you to fill in one word, then you have to fill up in only one word, not more than one word. So you have to understand the questions basically. You can just put in 30 to 40 minutes to listen to various types of audio and you can understand the question and you can practice down the questions. The next module is the writing module. Actually, the writing module is one of the daunting module of the IELTS exam, because for a long time we have not practiced such letter writing and essay. So, you have to practice letter writing and essay for the IELTS general. We have to understand that how you are going to prepare for the IELTS essay and letter writing. The first step is that you have to understand the question. For instance, the letter writing consists of 3 types: formal, semi-formal and informal. For the formal letter writing, you have to start with dear sir or madam and you have to end with yours faithfully. And for the semi-formal letter, you have to write with dear Mr. last name. For instance, Mr. Scott. You have to end with yours sincerely and your name. And the last format is the informal letter, where you can start with dear first name and the last should be warm regards and your name, again the first name. So, We have several types of letters. At the same time, we have several types of essays. Okay, I will discuss the writing section in a different video where how you are going to write the letter or how you are going to write the essay. However, we have to understand that there are different formats of letters where or essay where you have to understand the question, understanding the keywords of the question. That means you have to read the questions twice or thrice. We should give some time to read the question, then only you can understand the keywords of the question. Then you have to plan for the letter writing or the essay writing, because you are going to complete the writing task in just 1 hour, which is really difficult. So what you have to do is that you have to plan for the essay writing or the letter writing. And the important point is that you have to use collocations and you have to use the complex sentences. In the description box, I will leave you a link so that you can understand what are the collocations available and how you can use it with practice. The last part is the speaking part. As you know, the reading, writing and listening, which takes place on the same day without breaks, with the duration of 2 hours and 45 minutes, whereas the speaking takes place on a different day, which challenges mentally because we are more stressed out on the speaking test. The pressure levels of our exam would be increased on the speaking day. However, the speaking test just takes place for 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. What you have to do is that the first thing, we have never exposed to the grammar part clearly in the structure or the formation of the sentences. So what you have to do is that you have to work on your grammar part. For example, you have to work on the nouns. For example, you have to work on the articles. Similarly, there are certain things where you have to follow and prepare yourself. The vocabulary journal is one of the most important thing that if you are preparing for the IELTS exam, which means you have to identify certain new words and you have to write down. Either you can write down digitally or you can write down with a pen and paper so that you can just revise it and get used with it. So if you want really get good band, then you have to use more vocabulary, which means usage of the uncommon words but in the proper place. So you have to understand, if you are having idioms and phrases, for instance, a cup of joe. A cup of joe is a cup of coffee, but you have to use it in a proper way. You cannot use certain inappropriate words just for the sake of that you know it. So you have to understand, you have to prepare a vocabulary journal so that you can just use it on a regular basis, so that you can just get familiar with those words and how to use it on the exam day. As I have told you, the phrasal verbs is one of the most important parts where you have to practice yourself. As I discussed earlier, a cup of joe means a cup of coffee. This is one of the phrasal verb. A white lie means a small lie. A white lie. Today I told white lie to my daughter, which means a small lie, which is for good sake. So you have to prepare the phrasal verbs accordingly. For the speaking part, you have to get familiar with the topics because there are 3 parts, part 1, part 2 and part 3. This you have to understand. Part 1 is just familiar topics such as education, sports, leisure activities, picnic, food and all those things. Part 2 is a cue card section where you have to speak for 1 minute to 1 to 2 minutes continuously. And part 3 is the opinion questions where you have to tell your opinions. So this is the sample plan for the IELTS exam. We have totally 13 weeks. So in the week 1, we are going to do all the 4 modules. We have to understand that for the 13 weeks, we have to prepare for the 4 modules. In the first week, we are going to get familiar with the types and listen to various recordings, learn collocations, and you have to do on with the vocabulary journal. In the week 1 and week 2 are simply the same because you have to get used with all the types of questions that you are going to understand and you are going to observe on the test day. And from the week 3, we are just going to prepare week 3 and week 4, you are going to prepare section by section. For instance, the reading consists of 3 sections. Just take one section and just solve it and find where you are going wrong. And similarly for the listening test. And For the writing, you have to understand the planning and the time management, because you cannot write simply an essay within 40 minutes of time, which is very difficult. So we have to understand the planning and the time management. Similarly, for the speaking, we have to understand the phrasal verbs and the grammar. The vocabulary journal, grammar or simultaneously has to done till the end of the day. Similarly, for the week 5 to week 7, we are going to prepare the mock test. I have mentioned a few websites where you can just go on and prepare your mock test, and you can understand where you are going wrong. And for the writing section, we are just going to write one essay daily from the week 6, which means you are going to write around 50 to 60 essays within your exam. So that would obviously help you to crack your IELTS exam, because we have plethora of topics and where you cannot decide from which topic it is coming from. I'm not asking you to memorize anything, but memorize the pattern of the exam, or you can just prepare through practice just the format or the syntax of the particular letter writing or the essay writing or the speaking or the listening, because I'm saying that you cannot get the same questions in your exam question paper. And from the week 8 to week 10, actually you are going to do 2 to 3 mock tests. This is how you are going to prepare. If you do at least two mock tests in a day, then you can understand where you are going wrong, how you have to prepare your time management, and how you are going to do this. And from week 10 to week 13, actually you have to understand, for the writing and the speaking part, I would recommend you to hire a tutor, but it is up to you, because the writing and the speaking section need some other person, a professional person who can help you on that, to correct the mistakes or to improve your writing and speaking. Because if you have to prepare on your own, then the speaking part would be one of the most daunting part to clear the exam. So you have to prepare by recording and you have to listen back. I would suggest you to hire a tutor, but it is not mandatory. It is up to your wish. You can just hire a tutor, or I can refer you that you can record your answer, just play back the answer, so that it will be helpful for you to understand whether you are speaking in a correct tense or whether you are answering in the correct format. If you require really 7+ band, then obviously you have to practice at least 2 to 3 hours daily. Just split it them. Don't see 2 to 3 hours sitting in a sitting in a desk seeing the computer literally, but you have to just split up. Okay, just sit for half an hour and get familiar with one type of reading, or just prepare at least 10 words of vocabulary, or just listen to one part of the section, then just close it up. Give yourself a break. That would be helpful for you. I don't insist you to study continuously 2 to 3 hours, because 2 to 3 hours study would be very difficult process. So I hope this video would be helpful for you to prepare yourself, where you can download this PDF. You can just check by yourself so that how you are going wrong. If you prepare yourself thoroughly, then obviously you are going to get minimum 7+ band, which would be helpful for your IELTS exam. If you like this video, just like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.